How big can a truck become before it stops looking like a simple cargo vehicle and turns into a true fortress on wheels? In this list, we are climbing through 7 levels of brutality, starting with heavy trucks that are still recognizable on the road and ending with giants so massive that a person looks tiny standing next to their tires. Each machine was created to overcome a different kind of challenge, whether that means pulling impossible loads, crossing destroyed terrain, or carrying hundreds of tons in a single trip. Get ready to discover gigantic engines, reinforced structures, staggering numbers, and trucks that helped shape the history of heavy transportation. Stay until the end, because the final level is not simply bigger than everything else. It completely redefines what we can call a truck. Kenworth C500. The Kenworth C500 was born in the 1970s in the United States to handle jobs that demanded far more than an ordinary highway truck could provide. Since then, it has become a common sight in oil fields, mines, forests, and isolated regions where durability matters more than comfort. Depending on the configuration, it can use Cummins inline 6-cylinder engines with around 15 liters of displacement and more than 600 horsepower. Torque can exceed 2,000 pound-feet, delivering enough low-speed pulling power to get enormous loads moving. The transmission can be a multi-speed manual or a heavy-duty automatic. Drivetrain options include configurations such as 6x6 and 8x8, supported by reinforced axles and suspension systems designed for mud, rocks, sand, and uneven terrain. Its performance is not measured by 0 to 60 acceleration, but by its ability to keep moving while fully loaded. Top speed varies depending on the setup, tires, gearing, and purpose of each individual truck. Visually, it keeps the long hood associated with classic American trucks, but adds a raised chassis, reinforced bumpers, enormous tires, and specialized equipment. Once the engine comes to life, the deep diesel sound makes it clear that this machine was built for brute force. Inside the cab, the driver sits high above the ground, surrounded by a wide and heavy structure. Steering requires constant attention, especially in tight areas, because some versions are much larger than a conventional truck. The C500 can pull trailers carrying pipeline lines, transformers, industrial structures, and drilling equipment. It can also be fitted with cranes, specialized bodies, and tanks, allowing it to perform jobs that would normally require several different vehicles. Many units are built almost entirely to order, which explains why 2 C500s can look similar while having completely different specifications. That flexibility has helped the model remain relevant for decades in demanding operations around the world. That versatility turned the Kenworth C500 into a benchmark among extreme-duty trucks. But at the next level, the familiar shape begins to give way to something even wider, heavier, and more intimidating. Pacific P16. When the ground turns into mud, loose rock, and endless climbs, few trucks carry as much history as the Pacific P16. Built in Canada by Pacific Truck and Trailer, it appeared in the 1960s to serve logging operations along Canada's west coast. The P16 could be ordered with different diesel engines depending on the customer and the type of work. Some of the best-known versions used large displacement Detroit diesel V8 engines producing around 400 horsepower and strong torque at low engine speeds. The transmission was usually manual, with low gearing designed to multiply pulling power on steep climbs and help control the truck on descents. Instead of chasing speed, the drivetrain prioritized steady traction, mechanical strength, and control over enormous loads. Its most recognizable configuration used 3 axles, a 6x4 rear-wheel drive layout, reinforced leaf spring suspension, and components built for off-road work. Wide tires and a rigid frame allowed the P16 to move through trails where a highway truck would quickly become stuck. With its long hood, narrow cab, and heavy bumper, it looked as if it had been carved from raw steel. The 2-stroke diesel engine produced a loud, metallic, unmistakable sound, while the elevated driving position gave the operator a clear view of the road and the load behind the cab. 0 to 60 acceleration was hardly part of the conversation because the P16 was designed to work at low speed. Its true performance appeared when it kept moving up severe grades and controlled tons of timber on steep descents. In Canadian logging operations, it pulled combinations of loaded log trailers along improvised roads through rain, snow, and deep mud. Many units were built around the specific needs of each company, making every truck almost a custom-built machine. In many of those operations, the truck worked far from towns and repair shops, where a mechanical failure could stop the entire flow of timber. That is why its simple, durable mechanical design was valued just as highly as its engine power. Its toughness turned the Pacific P16 into a symbol of an era when trucks were built with huge safety margins and very little concern for luxury. Today, preserved examples attract admiration from collectors and former operators alike. If the Pacific P16 already looks like a block of steel built to drag an entire forest, the next level shows what happens when engineering abandons every concern for conventional dimensions. Mack M100SX. Now the scale begins to change for real. The Mack M100SX was developed in the United States during the expansion of large mining operations, when moving greater and greater volumes required trucks built far beyond normal road-going standards. Created by Mack for off-highway service, it belonged to a family of rigid-frame trucks designed for quarries and mines. The number 100 referred to its payload class, close to 100 short tons, or about 91 metric tons. In known configurations, the M100SX used a massive Cummins V12 engine, with approximately 28 liters of displacement. In those versions, power was around 700 horsepower, supported by extremely high torque at low engine speeds. That force was sent through a heavy-duty Allison automatic transmission, designed to move the truck under load without constant manual shifting. Low gear ratios supported slow starts, steep climbs, and repeated hauling cycles inside mining operations. Power went to the rear wheels, with two enormous tires mounted on each side of the rear axle. At the front, reinforced suspension and heavy steering components had to control a rigid structure capable of surviving constant impacts on rock and dirt surfaces. Its top speed was around 31 miles per hour, depending on configuration, but the performance that truly mattered was its ability to move dozens of tons continuously, shift after shift, without sacrificing durability. Next to a person, the M100SX looked like a small building on wheels. The elevated cab, broad hood, and gigantic dump body created an intimidating presence, while the engine produced a deep rumble that spread across the entire mining site. It was used to carry ore, rock, and earth between excavation areas and processing points. Every trip replaced dozens of smaller loads, reducing time, labor, and vehicle traffic throughout the operation. Are you enjoying this climb through the levels of brutality? Then leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because the machines still ahead make these first trucks look small. And if the Mack M100SX already seems too large for any road, the next level was born with dimensions so unusual that it became one of the most impressive trucks ever built. Berliet T100. In 1957, as oil exploration expanded across the Sahara Desert, French manufacturer Berliet introduced a colossal answer to a gigantic problem. The T100 was created to transport heavy equipment through roadless regions where soft sand, extreme heat, and isolation could stop ordinary vehicles in their tracks. Under the enormous hood sat a Cummins V12 diesel engine with around 29.6 liters of displacement. Depending on the individual truck and the modifications made over time, output ranged from approximately 600 to 700 horsepower, with abundant pulling force at low engine speeds. The truck used a Clark automatic transmission with ratios designed for slow, controlled movement. Its 6x6 drivetrain distributed power across all three axles, while reinforced suspension and tires nearly 8 feet tall helped the giant move across loose sand. At more than 49 feet long, nearly 16 feet wide, and roughly 15 feet tall, the T100 could not disappear even in the emptiness of the desert. Its elevated cab looked like the bridge of a ship, and the driver had to see far beyond the seemingly endless hood. Top speed was close to 22 miles per hour, a modest figure until you consider the size and weight involved. Its purpose was to carry drilling components, pipes, fuel, and complete structures to locations with no nearby support. Berliet built only 4 T100s, and each one received its own modifications. Some operated as enormous cargo platforms, while another was fitted with a specialized body for oil field work in North Africa. The deep engine note, mixed with the sound of the tires crushing the sand, announced its arrival long before the truck appeared on the horizon. For workers isolated in the Sahara, that moving mass of steel represented supplies and the survival of an entire operation. Despite being produced in extremely small numbers, the T100 became a symbol of French engineering and the desert oil boom. One preserved example is treated as an important historical artifact, recalling a time when conquering the terrain meant building something larger and stronger. If the Berliet T100 already looks like a fortress crossing the Sahara, the next truck goes beyond carrying weight and begins challenging the road with 10 driven wheels working together. Nicolas Tractomas TR 10x10 D100. From this point on, we are no longer talking about a simple heavy truck, but a true land-based tug. The Nicolas Tractomas TR 10x10 D100 was developed in France to move exceptional loads through regions where heat and limited infrastructure turn every transport job into an engineering operation. Built by Nicolas Industry, its name reveals part of its brutality. 10 driven wheels are spread across 5 axles, creating a 10x10 configuration designed to push or pull gigantic combinations. Under the cab sits a Caterpillar V12 diesel engine with around 27 liters of displacement. Depending on configuration, it produces approximately 900 horsepower and close to 2,600 pound-feet of torque at low engine speeds. All that force passes through a heavy-duty Allison automatic transmission with low gearing, designed to start moving hundreds of tons slowly and smoothly. The priorities are control, efficient cooling, and the durability required to work for hours under continuous strain. The full-time 10x10 drivetrain keeps every axle involved, while the reinforced suspension distributes the weight and helps maintain contact with the ground. This layout allows the truck to handle sand, gravel, ramps, and industrial surfaces without losing stability. At more than 33 feet long, over 10 feet wide, and weighing close to 44 short tons, the Tractomas is impressive even without a trailer. Its elevated cab, 5 axles, and cooling tower behind the driver make it look like a locomotive that has left the tracks. The TR 10x10 D100 has been used to transport transformers, industrial modules, refinery components, and oil field equipment. In some operations, 2 or more trucks work together, with one pulling and another pushing the same load. The driver does not work alone. Each movement may require escort vehicles, trailer operators, signaling crews, and detailed planning, because one poorly calculated turn can stop the entire operation. A unit supplied to Rotren in South Africa entered Guinness World Records as the largest and most powerful road-going tractor truck in its category. That recognition turned the Tractomas into a benchmark for super heavy transport. Even so, it still depends on a trailer to carry its load. The next giant needs no such help and carries hundreds of tons inside its own dump body. Caterpillar 797F. When the subject becomes mining on a colossal scale, the Caterpillar 797F enters the picture as one of the most impressive machines ever produced in the United States. Introduced in the late 2000s, it was developed to move enormous volumes of material in operations where every trip means hundreds of tons in motion. At the heart of this giant is a Caterpillar V20 engine with 106 liters of displacement. It produces around 4,000 horsepower and tremendous torque at low engine speeds, enough force to move a fully loaded machine weighing more than 600 tons. Unlike many mining trucks that use diesel-electric drive, the 797F has a 7-speed automatic mechanical transmission. This system sends power directly to the rear axle through gear ratios designed for long climbs and repeated cycles at maximum load. Power goes to the rear wheels, while the suspension uses large oil and nitrogen cylinders to absorb impacts. Even so, every bump reminds the operator that the truck is more than 49 feet long and rides on tires over 13 feet tall. Its payload capacity reaches approximately 400 short tons, or 363 metric tons. The dump body can be filled with rock and ore in only a few passes from giant excavators, reducing the number of trips and speeding up the entire hauling process. The cab sits so high that the driver must climb a long staircase to reach the controls. From that height, support pickups look like toys, while the deep engine sound and constant vibration create the feeling of operating a moving building. This truck works in open-pit mines, hauling iron ore, copper, coal, and rock along controlled internal routes. Its size solves a simple but brutal problem: move as much material as possible in fewer trips while keeping production running day and night. The tires, built specifically for machines in this category, cost staggering amounts and require constant monitoring of temperature and pressure. A single failure can interrupt the operation and cause enormous losses, proving that even an ordinary-looking component becomes gigantic at this scale. The Caterpillar 797F became a benchmark among mining trucks and a symbol of modern heavy engineering. But there is still one level above it: a machine with 2 engines, 8 tires, and a payload so extreme that even this giant begins to look ordinary. BelAZ 75710. At the top of this list is a machine that changed the standard for size in mining transportation. Introduced in 2013 by BelAZ, a manufacturer from Belarus, the 75710 was created to move extreme quantities of material in open-pit mines, where productivity means carrying hundreds of tons on every trip. Instead of one engine, it uses 2 MTU V16 diesel engines, each with approximately 65 liters of displacement. Together, they produce around 4,600 horsepower, the kind of force required to move the empty truck, which weighs close to 397 short tons. The drive system is diesel-electric. The diesel engines power generators, and the electricity feeds 4 traction motors mounted in the axles, eliminating the need for a conventional mechanical transmission and allowing smoother power delivery during starts and climbs. Its all-wheel drive system works with 2 steering axles and 8 gigantic tires mounted in pairs at each corner. The suspension uses oil and gas cylinders designed to support the weight and absorb impacts from rough mining roads. At approximately 67.6 feet long, nearly 32.8 feet wide, and more than 26 feet tall, the BelAZ 75710 looks like an industrial building in motion. Its rated payload reaches 496 short tons, or 450 metric tons, bringing the fully loaded machine close to 893 short tons. The cab is positioned far above the ground and provides a broad view of the haul road, although the operator still depends on cameras and monitoring systems to see the areas close to the truck. The sound of 2 engines, the vibration, and the presence of 13-foot tires create an experience that cannot be compared with driving an ordinary truck. In mining operations, it transports coal, ore, and massive volumes of rock between excavation and processing areas. Its advantage is the ability to replace multiple trucks by smaller trucks, reducing traffic and increasing the amount of material moved during each cycle. In 2014, one unit carried more than 503 metric tons during a test recorded by Guinness World Records, exceeding its own rated payload. That achievement confirmed the model as one of the largest and most powerful mining trucks ever built. The BelAZ 75710 does not finish this list, simply because it is enormous. It holds the most absurd level because it combines 2 engines, 8 tires, electric drive, and the ability to carry the equivalent weight of hundreds of cars in a single load. From the Kenworth C500 to the gigantic BelAZ 7572, we have seen trucks built to face forests, deserts, mines, and loads that seem impossible. More than size and horsepower, each one shows how engineering can transform extreme challenges into real solutions capable of keeping major operations running every day. Now tell me in the comments, which of these trucks surprised you the most? Which one did you already know? And if you could watch only one of them working up close, which one would you choose? Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support shows YouTube that this content matters, helps the channel reach more people who love incredible machines, and helps bring more videos like this your way. See you in the next video.